One other question you can ask is, so from your experience, what's the best thing about working here? This is a question which will help you get the person to talk about some cultural aspects of the company. Now, if the last question, whether a technical person asks, whether a HR person asks, it's the finale. This is the way in which most interviews would end. And this is the time for you to make an impression. All right, let's talk about what are the things which you should say when they say, ask me some questions. All right. What questions are pertinent? Again, as I said, this is not a prescriptive list. This is some indicative. You can make your own questions, but what is the trend or what is the theme of the questions which you should ask? The reason why this question is asked, ask me something, is generally to know what curious questions do you have? Do you have any questions which they have not asked or explained during the interview process? All right. So here are some of the questions, and as always, I'll ask you which pick up one or two, and I'll tell you how to ask this question. One other question you can ask the person is that please do not. Let me start with what not to ask. Please do not ask, sir, tell me about your company. Sir, how big is your company? What is the salary I will get? What is the training period? This is not. So let us say these are questions you ask. What will you do? How big is your company? They will say in Hyderabad, TCS has 82,000 people. What will you do with that answer? So you should ask a question for which you will get an answer, which will make you a more informed person after when you walk out from the interview. So one of the questions you can ask is, sir, your company is such a wonderful company and it's such a great place to work with. What is it in your company that makes it a great place to work? Predominantly HR will talk about, it's about our culture, it's how we hire young people, it's the kind of projects which we give, it's the trainings what you have. So when they talk about what makes their great company, two things you're establishing. One, you want to know why it is such a great company, and it's an opportunity for them to talk about. Nobody starts saying that, my company is the greatest. You have to ask that, what makes your company great? And they'll find a lot of pleasure and a lot of privilege in talking about it. One other question you can ask is, so from your experience, what's the best thing about working here? This is a question which will help you get the person to talk about some cultural aspects of the company. One of the things which is the best thing about working here is work-life balance. One of the best things about working here, especially as a technologist, is your ability to move from one project to another project so that you can build a very wide portfolio of experiences. One of the things about working here is that this is a place where you can actually demonstrate a lot of teaming. We all work in teams. So this is a question which will bring back some answers, which will make you a little more informed about the culture of the company. This is a very good question. So what would my first month look like if I'm hired for this position, sir? What would I be doing in my first month? So typically their answer is, first month is all about initial learning program. You need to learn a lot of things, do a lot of assessments, or you'll be put on some shadow projects or something like that. It's a focused question, but broad enough for them to give you some indication about how the hiring process will start, or how will it move on once you're released a position or once you're offered a job. One of the questions which is very, very good as a positive, as a curious person you need to ask is, what qualities do successful employees or outstanding employees in your company have? So this is a question which will make them come back and say, typically the people who are really fast growth, promotions, hikes and all that, they're very, very hardworking. They're always updating their technology, or they're people who are always helping their team members, or communication is very important. People who are always communicating to the team manager about the issues and so on and so forth. So this kind of a question will help them give you some insights about what the working culture is, and what are the success rates of that company. In some companies, it's about hard work. Some companies, it's about quality. Some companies, it's about innovation. So you will get to know about it. What are some of the other questions you can ask? Same thing. What attributes contribute to the success of the role and so on and so forth? Similar question. Uh, this is an interesting question, especially any top companies which are joining. A lot of people stay back and work for many years. What makes people stay back in this company, sir or madam? So this is a good way for them to again come back and give you some insights about the culture, how people work, how the company takes care of the people, what attributes should people demonstrate so that the success is something which they notice and they are given the kind of opportunities which make them stay and so on and so forth. One of the questions you can ask is, this is a good question, beyond technical skills. This is an HR interview, right? So you can ask, sir, beyond technical skills, what soft skills will help me grow in your company? A great question is for an HR to tell you things about non-tech things. So they will talk about discipline, they'll talk about values, they'll talk about hard work and stuff like that. So this is an opportunity for an HR interviewer to tell you things. You need to have great communication skills. You need to do conflict resolution. Sometimes you fight amongst team members, but very quickly you need to reconcile. That are the kind of skills other than technical skills which will help you grow. So you will get to know a little more about the company. So CSR stands for corporate social responsibility or social impact initiatives. All companies, whether it's TCS, Wipro, Infosys, HCL, Accenture, IBM, Deloitte, you name a company, even the big product companies, they do a lot of CSR initiatives. This is a good question for you to ask. If you are somebody, if you like pets, or if you like it, you're into social impact, you like to teach, you are into helping old people, you are into the Cry Foundation, as we call it. If you are into that, there's a good opportunity for you to ask about some of the CSR opportunities and how can I participate. You're not asking what are the CSR opportunities. Your company is big on CSR. Any company of worth its salt has big CSR initiatives. You should ask, how can I participate? And of course, a couple of quick questions. This is a very, very good question. Sir, over the last 20-25 minutes, I have shared some information about my academics, my projects, some of the strengths and competencies that I have. Sir, is there anything which I can share with you so that you can make a positive decision about hiring me? This is a very, very good question. It will get the HR thinking, what else can I ask? Then they'll come back and ask, why do you think you're the right fit? There are other people also and so on and so forth. So this is a very good question to ask, sir, anything else can I share with you so that you can make an informed positive decision and so on and so forth. So yeah, so one of the questions is, why is it that the interviewer takes only 90 seconds to judge if the candidate is eligible for or not? Okay, so one of the things about this 90-second rule is typically that's what they do at the resume side. Typically, if you are or not fit for the interview and so on and so forth, they need certain percentages, they need certain words. So if somebody is looking at, let's say, Java skills or Java/Python skills, they are looking at, in quick 90 seconds, they're looking at, do you have those skills or not? The second thing is, when I say 90, it doesn't mean 90. They'll actually spend some time with you. They are looking at, are you really wanting to join this job, or you're one of those people who are just casual about it. So they want serious people who are showing the passion, who are showing the curiosity, who are showing the determination that said, I want to make it into your company. If you're not able to establish in the first 5 minutes or something like that, and you're not able to summarize that in the last 5 minutes or couple of minutes, that is when they do the rejections. All right. How many questions at maximum can we ask the interviewer? Wonderful question. Typically, I think you should restrict it to 1 or 2 because it would be a half an hour, 40-minute interview. And that's not the time for you to ask a lot of questions. So these are some of the questions which I put. If you go onto the net or you have really some curious question about a very specific company. So in your company, there is a division which does a lot of work on virtual reality and augmented reality. So sir, how do I get into that zone? Or how do I get into that team? So it's a very specific question you can ask, but my only thing we should make sure is that do not ask HR people technical questions. This is an HR round, all right?